I'm ArmyVet and welcome to today's DIY build. This is the ultimate rage quit proof gaming desk. Remember to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, and leave a comment. So once the plans were finalized, I ordered the parts, they were delivered, and we're going to transform this into this. Starting with the ultimate gaming desk. Everything you need for this build is listed in the description below, as well as listed for each particular section that we're working on at the time during the video. First thing we're going to tackle is building the frame. To start, grab all the pieces and parts that are listed here, the pipe fittings and the pipes, and we're going to get started. We're going to start off building the frame with the left-hand side end piece. Assemble the two legs as shown here, and then add the 24-inch crossbars loosely once those are completed. When that's done, you should end up with this. Now we're going to attach the first of the crossbars. A quick word on the crossbars. Make sure they're as tight as you can get them. These are the only pieces that you're going to crank down as hard as you can. These are going to support 90% of your weight, so you want them as rigid as possible. Next, we're going to add our three fittings to those 36-inch pipes, and then screw the 36-inch pipes into those fittings. Now we're going to put the last of our fittings on the second set of 36-inch cross pipes. Pro tip here, use one of the 8-inch pipes or the 24-inch pipes to tighten everything down and get everything aligned. And don't get discouraged if everything doesn't line up the first time. I built two of these, one for myself, one for the wife, and I had to disassemble them and reassemble them a grand total of 7 times to get it right. So don't feel bad if you don't get it right on the first time. It happens. When installing the 24 and 18-inch pipes, you're going to want to tighten them into one pipe only. Now you're asking yourself, what the hell does he mean? Okay, in the video you see 3 pipes. One on the left, one on the middle, one on the right. The one in the middle, you're going to screw in the 24 and the 18-inch pipes too, and I'll tell you why. These pipes are threaded the exact same way. So if you're unscrewing one end, you're screwing the other end in. Does that make sense? I hope so. So if you screw them in to one pipe as tight as you can go without having to use tools, then when you pop it onto the other fixture across from it, you slowly unscrew it, and then they will come together and attach. Now these don't have to be tight. They can be loose because all you gotta do is support down weight on these. So as long as they do not come apart, you're fine. The exception to this rule are the 8-inch pipes and flanges that you use for the feet of this frame. You want to crank those up tight. Those are going to be what you're going to use to level the desk later. So you want them as snug up as tight as possible so you have more range of motion to get the desk level. Now at this point I didn't have anybody in the house to help me, so you'll see a couple of times I use a clamp to pull the pipes together to help screw them in. There you have it. One complete desk frame. Now this thing is pretty sturdy. It supported me right at the T-joint at the very front of the desk with no deflection whatsoever, and I weigh 215 pounds. Next up is the desktop itself. If you can swing it or you have one, I really do suggest using the orbital sander. It'll shave so much time off the project and save your shoulders and arms from a grueling workout. For both desks, we picked a unfinished solid core hardwood interior door slab. These doors come in a variety of sizes. After much consideration, we came up with the 80 by 36 inch would fit our needs best. First step we're going to do is sand. We're going to start off with 120 and then go to 220. We're going to keep going until we get a nice, smooth, blemish-free, as much as possible, surface. This step is where you should spend the majority of your time, as it will directly affect the finished product. Run your hand along the surface and you'll be able to find any blemishes, rough spots, or anything else you need to hit once more. Remember, keep going until this is as smooth as a baby's bottom. A final once over with 220 and you should be good to go. We've had this stain for quite a while, so we're going to stir it for an extra long time. Remember, this is not James Bond. Do not shake, stir only. Now, what I usually do is put on a song for about 2 or 3 minutes and stir until the song is over. That should be plenty good. Now, remember, there are sediments at the bottom of the can, so make sure you scrape the bottom with the stirrer and get those sediments mixed in as well. All right, now that you've got everything stirred up nice, we're going to apply it. Now, you can use a paintbrush if you want, but I use a paint edger. The pads on those absorb a great amount of stain, and it makes it very easy to apply it evenly over the project. The instructions say you can wait from 5 to 15 minutes depending on how dark you want the stain to be. On both desks, I waited 15 minutes plus before I wiped it off. During this part, you can even out the stain colorations. So if you find a spot that might be a little lighter than you want, you can rub in a little more stain. If you want to find one that's a little darker than you want, you can give it a little extra attention and thin it out some. Now the can says once you've done this process, you can wait 8 hours and it should be dry. I side on the 24-hour range just to be safe. Now for the protective coating. I'm going to be using lacquer satin finish for our 2 desks. Now you can use polyurethane and so forth, but I find the lacquer is a little less process intensive. You just paint it on, wait a couple hours, paint it on, wait a couple hours, paint it on, wait a couple hours, paint it on, and then let it dry for 24 hours. Now this particular product says you don't have to sand in between coats. However, unless you live in a clean room or you have a spray booth, there's going to be dust and dirt in the air. Now by the time I got to the 3rd coat, I noticed a few bumps and decided to get rid of them. So what I did was I wet sanded with 320 grit sandpaper on the orbital sander. That knocked all the bumps and everything down so nice and smooth, and then put the 4th and last coat on, and it came out great. Now this next step is totally optional, but it will cut down on a lot of the vibrations transferred from your desktop to the frame and into your mic or into your environment in general. You will see that there are actually 12 tubes here cut to the 3-inch length. That's because I made 2 desks. You only need 6. I had an extra tube of super glue laying around, so I used that instead of the double-sided tape. However, the double-sided tape will work just as good. I also added a little extra weight to make sure everything stuck together. Okay, next you're going to cut the tube into 32-inch sections and then split it down the middle. I'm just giving this a quick wipe down with rubbing alcohol because it's been sitting in my garage for quite a while and is filthy. Once you get the tire split, you will see that there are 5 to 6 seams running the length of the tire tube. This is what you're going to cut down. You're going to cut this into 5 strips, and you're going to need a total of 10 altogether. Once the strips are cut, you're going to place these on the bars that are going to come in contact with the desktop itself. To do this, you're going to take one strip and place it in the dead center of the pipe you're working on. Tag it down with some electrical tape, wrap it around till you get to the end, then hold it in place with another piece of electrical tape. It should look something like this. Repeat this on the other 6 pipes. Place double-sided tape on all the fittings on the top of the frame, like so. Then you're going to remove the backing of the double-sided tape, the blue side. Now you're going to take the 3-inch tubes that we glued together or taped together, place them on top of every fitting. We're getting so close, almost done. It's time to put the frame and the desktop together. Place a pipe strap directly over the bicycle tubing that we had placed on the frame. There should be a grand total of 7. Then use the painter's tape to hold them in place. Next, we're going to drill pilot holes for the screws. Now change out the drill bit for the Phillips bit and attach the clamps to the desktop. Next, we're going to level the frame. So I used a 1x2. It's probably about 4 foot in length and a level. Just adjusted the 8-inch pipes and the flanges in and out until I got a level. Then I moved on to the next group and so on and so forth till the whole desk was level. Took a little bit of time, but it wasn't difficult at all. This next step is totally optional, but I wanted to handle the wire monster that's underneath my desk, so we got some cable management trays. We're going to show 2 ways to mount this. First is going to be with the desk on its back, so to speak, and the other with the desk already flipped over. The first one is with the template that is included on the box. All you're going to do is cut it out, tape it to where you want it, pre-drill your holes, screw the screws in, and you're done. Pretty simple. The second way is to place a piece of tape across the top of the basket where it's going to attach to the desk. Poke holes in it, place the tape on the desk where you want it from underneath, drill your pilot holes, and screw it in. There you have it. You're all done. Rage quit proof gaming desk. Stay tuned for part 2 in the series where we make the TV stand you see at the very beginning of the video. As always, have a great day.